Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the live stream, the weekly live stream. Tonight, we're going to talk about the impending dollar collapse following the rest of the currencies. So we're gonna cover that. We're also gonna pull a fairy game. We're gonna pull a number, right? We're gonna do something fun. And tonight's number is special because the one you have to guess. We'll get into that in a minute. I think we're gonna wait for everyone to come online. Now let me see. Do we have a little bit more space here? It's good. You can see what I'm running here. I'm just on USD CAD, the same AUD Singaporean dollar trade, and Euro CAD. But like, look, right now, it wouldn't be very smart to trade a lot, and we'll go into that why that is. But inherently, when you look at a lot of these markets, you can look at the whole JPY group. You can see that it's slowly coming online, but we are lacking some short-term strength, and that will come. Then we look at Euro CHF and USD CHF, and you can see that it's not aligned with the long-term trend and the short-term here. So, we can go through these markets, and you will find, like in general, there's something is a little bit off. It's like they're waiting for something. Hang on, let me just find the chat. Welcome to the live stream, everyone. Here we go. Here's the chat. Welcome, some to Chicken and Martin and Guido and Carl and Keen Sang. So. Yeah, USD CAD is just going. It's pretty good. So we're gonna talk about how to position yourself for a dollar collapse, and just how to approach everything that's going on right now. And we're also gonna have a talk about when Neuro Agent will start to trade more. Because I realized there's a lot of people who don't understand why is it not doing anything, and like I just touched on, this is mostly because we're waiting for some big shifts in the market to take place. And if we trade before these big shifts, we'll get stuck in a bunch of old positions as the shift happens. We don't want that. It's funny. It's like everything is a little bit different today. Everything is a little bit different. It's very interesting. But yeah, for the next hour, I'm here to entertain you guys, talk to you about some ideas that I have about the what's gonna happen with all these banks, what's gonna happen, but also just reminding you not to be fearful of it and not to be worried about it. Like, if you walk around thinking about, World War III, bank collapse, dollar collapse, if you walk around thinking these thoughts actively, it's only going to manifest itself into reality and become real for you. Now, the truth is that there's nothing to really fear here. There's nothing to fear here. You probably, it probably doesn't make sense to you, but the reason I say there's nothing to fear is because, and this sounds weird, if you don't get it, it's okay. And if you think it sounds wacky, it's all right. But if you look up the smartest people in the world and you look up quantum physics, it's all supported, all right? So it's not crazy stuff. What we know now is that we are living in this kind of reality that seems very real, but is actually not that real. And the truth is that in this reality is composed of multiple dimensions at the same time. And that means that you exist in every one of these dimensions right now. And there's all kind of things happening in the higher dimensions that you're not aware of. But you're here for a reason, all right? You're here for a very specific reason. Typically on Earth, the reason we're here is to learn restrictions and learn limitations. Emotional control as well. And this is really important to master. This is also why trading has been such a beautiful business model for all the brokers and the prop firms and all that. It's been a really beautiful business model because humans cannot trade profitable in a manual fashion. It just doesn't work. Something happens with the mind while you are engaged with financial markets that make you do very stupid things. And it's not that you are specifically stupid or something. It happens to everyone. It happens to me. It happens to everyone that trades manually. Everyone that trades manually will somehow their life will only get worse. Like the people trading manually, their life is only gonna get worse. So and then people ask me like, well, what about these people making all this money and so on? It's like, okay, listen. Just because someone makes money for 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months in the financial markets, it doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't mean anything, because when you take the time horizon of trading and you span it over enough time, you will always lose to the house in some way or another, because you're human. It's designed to trap you. If you get short-term wins, if you get some short-term, like, when I started trading, my first 2 weeks of trading, I deposited $1,000, and after 2 weeks, I had made about $15,000, and I was like, holy shit, that's incredible. And I was like, I was convinced, like, oh, this is so easy, It's like, I just pressed the button at the right time. And the day after, this is years ago. It's like 2016, 2017 or something. And what happened is the day after, I lost the whole, all the profits and the money I had put in. And I was just like, what happened? Everything I thought I knew, everything I thought I had understood in those 2 weeks, it just turned out to not be true at all. And I was like, okay, well, if I'm just a little bit less greedy, then next time I can put $1,000 in, and I'll just stop at 7,000 or 10,000 and withdraw that. So I put in another $1,000, and I traded for another 2 weeks, and I ran it up again to roughly $15,000, and I was like, all right, easy. And I had, 15x'd my account in 2 weeks. It's crazy. So the next thing that happened, the day after, it was exactly on the same time, I lost the whole account again. So now in 4 weeks, I had lost basically $30,000 plus the $2,000 I had put in. So all the profits, all the deposits, all gone. And I was upset at this point. I was upset because the feeling you get when you go from having $1,000 in your trading account to suddenly have $15,000, and you're like, I've never made money this easy before in my life. But it's not what you think it is, because what it really is a short-term loan from the devil, and he will always come back and ask you to repay the debt plus much more. And you pay with your soul. You pay with your feelings, your emotions, your mental health, all of it. It will take everything from you. So what could I do? Well, I went back, I put another $1,000 in, I made $15,000 again, and I was like, this time all is good, but I'm gonna run it up to $100,000. So what happened, and I'm not joking, the next day I lost the whole account again. So now it had been, roughly 45 days, 50 days, and I had been trading, not only had I lost $3,000, I had also lost $45,000 in profit. That's how I felt. And when I suddenly started thinking about $40,000 at that time, I was like, holy shit, that's a lot of money. And then you start thinking about, oh, what could you do with all that money? And then you torture yourself and you blame yourself and all this. And that's what happens. This is what happens to everyone. Everyone has this story. Some way or another, either they buy a shit coin, or they buy a stock, or they, you know, or they have a lucky week, or a lucky month, or a lucky year. Do not, you know, do not take short-term gains for granted when you're using high leverage, because they will never be yours. And even if you think that, you know, let's say that I had kept my $15,000 that I had made in the first 2 weeks, and I had cashed out, I took that money home, all good, right? Nothing to worry about. What do you think would happen after I spent that $15,000? I'd probably go back sometime in the future when I needed money again and do it one more time, because you're so convinced that you're able to do this. So you go back and you try again, and the same thing happens, or worse. This time you don't get any profits and you just lose, and you try again, and it's like a slot machine, and you just keep trying, and it gets worse and worse and worse. And eventually you will bankrupt yourself morally, financially, and spiritually. So it doesn't work. Manual trading doesn't work. It's not a thing that can be done. It's an illusion. And listen, you know, after I went through those 45 days of losing like 15K in a row 3 times, after I went through that, you know, I'm the kind of personality that you tell me I can't do something, I will do it. So after that, I spent the next 5 or 6 years trying to beat the system. And many, you know, it's not that I never made money from trading. You know, I've made north of $1.5 million in trading. I have. It's also from roughly small amounts, but it's always a short-term loan. It's always a short-term loan. It's never lasting. It's never gonna be lasting. And that's what I've learned. So these markets, they cannot be beat as a human. The reason they cannot be beat as a human is because they deploy psychological warfare basically in these financial markets, and it's extremely effective. It's like a drug dealer. They let you get the first one for free. They're happy to let you win the first one for free. And it's incredible how many coincidences, how many people get very lucky in their first week of trading. It's truly something you gotta wonder about, like what's going on, because yeah, that's some higher powered play there. So yeah, it doesn't work. I just wanted to make sure everyone understands this, and then also build onto it. So why is manual trading, you know, beside humans being exploited and humans being farmed in financial markets? Beside this, there's something that people inherently don't understand. You can't be trading all the time. It just doesn't work like that. Because when energy is going into a market, when buying or selling volume is going into a market, like it is right now on USD CAD, there's a specific process happening in the market where money is coming in, liquidity is coming into the market, and we can detect that. And that's what we're doing here, right? So we see this, and this works really well. But if you try to execute the same strategy when money is not coming into the market, you can just think, you know, what's going to happen, and it's just going to be sideways. Let me see if I can find a good sideways market here, maybe AUD USD. It just kind of, nothing happens, you know? And sure, we can trade this. it's not that we can't increase the frequency of how much we trade. We can absolutely increase the frequency of how much we trade. It's not a problem to do that. What is a problem is to increase the frequency that we trade while also making money and making the whole thing work. So sometimes nothing will happen, maybe for a week, maybe for 2 weeks. Why is that? We're in one of these scenarios right now. Why is it nothing is happening? Why is nothing trading right now? The reason nothing is trading right now is because we are almost on, if it hasn't started, I mean, some people say it already started many years ago, but we're basically, entering World War III. Now, don't worry about like nukes flying across the planet and all that kind of stuff. Don't worry about that. And I'm not trying to spread fear propaganda here, but I do believe there's going to be used some nuclear weapons in Israel if it's allowed. We'll see if it's going to be allowed. But this is a tough conflict, and this is also why these markets are not doing right now, because there's a lot more to this conflict than what you're just seeing with your eyes and what you're hearing. For example, there's a completely new financial system, a quantum financial system being established right now. Also going to be part of the new BRICS alliance and all this. And this new financial system will be a new currency that's backed by, it will basically be like a new dollar backed by gold and assets. So they're gonna fix this shit that they did in 1971 when they took the US dollar off the when they took the US dollar. Let me see if we can get this. Here you go. This is actually really nice. Right. So you can see here, 1971, the gold standard was abandoned. Productivity kept going up, but the compensation stayed roughly the same. So what they have done is essentially steal the wealth, right? They have stolen the wealth in the world by inflating these paper currencies. This is the truth, right? So what is happening right now? I think it's likely that we are like in the let's see what happens, but it's gonna be a big month for sure. So what can you do yourself to, and I will get to the chat in a moment, guys. I'm gonna finish my rant here. Get to the chat. So what can you do with this information? What can you do with all this? Well, it's tricky because when you think about a currency imploding or crashing, it might actually go up in value. And this is very confusing. And this is what I didn't understand for a long time as well. But when a currency like the US dollars, when the foreign countries stop buying the US treasury notes, when they stop exchanging oil in US dollar, so that is no longer the petrodollar, when all of these things are unfolding at the same time, while huge amount of illegal laundered money through Ukraine, through Israel, through Europe, all of these nations, the United Nations, once all this illegal money, this counterfeit money that they're using right now, and I'm talking about the inflated currencies, once all this money returns home, it's likely we're gonna see the opposite of a contraction, meaning instead of the US dollar going down, values go up, because it's very complex. It's very complex what's going on. So I don't know what to say. I believe everything is gonna be fine, but it's also gonna be a major thing. So what would I do? I would get my hands on stuff that has real value. So food or car or any like utility item that's actually worth and keeps its value would be a smart thing to buy. In the past, I have recommended Bitcoin, but it looks like Bitcoin is being used by the exact same mafia. And they might even be the one who introduced it to the world. So I don't know. Bitcoin and Ethereum, there's some weird stuff going on. It seems very fat at this point. So I think there's a good chance that Bitcoin and Ethereum could take a big hit as this comes out. What to buy instead? Look, I don't usually give like coins recommendation or anything. Like I really don't like to do it, but I'm just gonna drop it in here. Like maybe you could buy like $100 or just like a little bit of it, and it's ironic. It's very funny. It's very funny in a way, because these coins is what I have believed to be the biggest like fraud coins in for many years. So what I think you should do some research on is probably I hate to say this, is probably XRP and XLM. XRP and XLM. Don't take it too serious, but just look into it. All right, look into it. Try to see if you can find some connections to international settlement between the banks. Try to see if you can find the connections to the BRICS nations. Try to see if you can find connections to how this is gonna represent assets on a blockchain that will be, so all money in the future will be tracked, and how they're gonna facilitate it through blockchain. So have a look, XRP, XLM. That's the last I'm gonna say of it. If it's true or not, I don't fucking know. I have no idea. But you go look for yourself. You find your own truth, okay? So let me just check here. Let me have a look at the chat here. I haven't looked at the fucking chat. Guys, is the video still lagging? Let me know if the video is lagging. Maybe I can do something about it. Okay, cool. Can we check Euro USD? We can check Euro USD, sure, but let's see what there is to check. It's just here right now. So let's have a look at this thing. Euro USD. It's ironic. It's very ironic because my whole life I have seen XRP as the biggest shitcoin, but what I have learned is that fate loves irony. Absolutely. So okay, so Euro USD, it's just kind of in this trap down here right now. It's probably going to continue down. So will Euro USD start trading? It probably would pretty soon. If we can get this mid group a little bit pumped, a little bit higher, then it will begin trading shortly. So it's coming. It's coming. All right, so time to introduce the small game of tonight. There was a country. That was founded. Fuck, how do I say this without giving away the number? Let me just think. All right, we're gonna give away a 1-month subscription to Neo Agent on the God plan, of course. And you can either use it for yourself or you can use it as like a gift card and give it to a friend or something like that. Some to chicken is so companion is already on the companion exchange, but you probably wanted to go on a Binance or something like that. When is that going to be? We will probably see in 2024. Don't worry, companion's going to have its day. EuroCAD. So this is EuroCAD. I'm in the same trade. I'm not really concerned because we are not really using much risk on these trades. This is not really when we're pumping risk into the market. Like all of the gains that has been in the past, I would say 10 days, something, it's just been tiny. And why is that? It's because there's no established direction of the flow, right? There's no continuous flow in either direction. There's nothing, there's no confidence, anything. So, but what I do expect is it to be a ton of volatility for the next days. And I don't know if you guys remember, but USD CAD a few days ago is looking exactly like Euro CAD basically. And then it did like a huge, you know, this kind of stuff. I think the same stuff will happen here. Either way, so what we're waiting for is really some strength, some directional strength, some order flow to come in that's gonna hit the right direction. And once this aligns, it will begin printing. And once we have proper strength in these markets, it's really gonna print. It's really gonna print. Maybe some people remember the times of the purple colors. That's what we're waiting for right now. I'm wondering what is the wicks doing here. Wow. What's going on here? 18. And the dollar index? Dollar index pumping. So that's probably what we're gonna see. Probably gonna see the dollar index pumping. It looks good. I mean, directional wise. Andrew asked, how about gold? Let's have a look at gold, guys. I think gold is going to do very well. I think gold will probably be a good thing to buy as well. If you can get your hand on physical gold, it's a good idea. In general, I think, you know, all asset classes against the US dollar is gonna increase to some degree. It's just how we get there. It's very tricky. It's very tricky. These waters that we are threading in right now. Like it's very it's a strong illusion. You have to really pay attention if you want to figure out what's going on. So I think it's very important that, you know, while this is happening, we just make sure we don't lose money, because it's just, you know, it's not that we can't make a bot that trades all the time. It's not hard. It's not a problem to set it to trade all the time. It's also not a problem to set it to trade all the time and generate like a 3-month or 6-month backtest, or even a 1-year backtest or a 3-year backtest that shows that it's super profitable. It's not a problem to do this. It's very easy to fake. You know, when you're making the backtest, when you're making the actual bot itself, in the code of the bot, if you want to make like a very good backtest, you can just put in the code that on these days where you would lose, it would just not trade those days. And then you run the backtest again and it just shows perfect. So this is not a problem. And that's why you might see all these different trading bots and all this kind of different stuff. But look, it's an illusion, right? You might get temporary gains, but you're not gonna It's not gonna work long term. This works long term. It's just a very slow period right now. It feels like the calm before the storm. It feels like the calm before the storm. All right, so let's have a look at this AUD Singaporean trade that we've been in for like a few days. I mean, it just looks like, look at it, right? Like, look at this shit. Look at this stuff. It's just repeating, right? It's just the same thing going on. So what's gonna happen is we're gonna get a big dive, we're gonna get out of this. And USD CAD looks fine, and then we have Euro CAD. I think Euro CAD looks fine as well. So what is happening here? It's just liquidating people. It's just destroying them. That's all. So what can we do? We can't really do too much. We can't really, we really have to wait for the environment itself, right? We're waiting for the ocean to give us the right waves that we can trade. But this is not it. This is where everyone else makes the mistakes of trading, and they spend a lot of capital and money just trading markets when it's not in a good position to trade. And that's just not how we're gonna approach it. We're only gonna trade it when we actually have reliable strength or energy going into a market. And when we have really strong, reliable energy, buying and selling activity going into a market, then we're gonna increase the position sizes and trade with a lot higher position sizes and make a lot more money. So when it really comes, and we can do a back test, but what you will see is that if we run a back test for 3 years, you will see that sometimes it just doesn't trade for a month on a specific market right now. We have 50 markets available in the trend index, so there should be plenty. But yeah, sometimes you will just see that there's no trades for a month. Try this one. See if we can get a... Oh, that's not the one. Uh-huh. Raj is asking if we can add DAX to the... I think we already have it on indices. We have the... Oh, we don't have it. Yeah, we'll add the DAX. We'll add the DAX. We'll add the DAX, not a problem. Send a message to my... What is it called? It's called DE 30 euro. I don't think we have the DE 40. Let me check. We don't have the DE 40. We only have the DE 30. It's the same. I mean, it's... the only difference is how many markets is included. So DE30 is what we have access to. Oh wow, look at this thing. That's quite an M, huh? FTSE if I'm not wrong, we already have this. Let me have a look. This is the UK index. We already have it. Oh, we don't have it. That's strange. I'm pretty sure we used to have it. All right, we'll add it. So that would be, what do we call it? Is it UK? Because we need to do this on the Rwanda feed. Hang on. Yeah, here's what we got. UK 100 GBP. Okay, well, it looks like if we're gonna, I just got the engineer on the phone. He told me that we can do it, but if we're gonna implement it, we have to update. We're gonna have to make an update to the Nero agent itself. So I think we're gonna include it in a future update this month. Sounds good? Is there any other markets you guys would like us to add? I'll see. We can't add everything, but I'll see what we can do. So if there's something that you have in mind you'd like to see, let me know. You know, it would be fun to trade stocks, but it's doable. We can do it. We just gotta... Fuck, we can probably add. We probably can. I believe... Let me see if we have... Fuck, I can't fucking believe that. XRP, Jesus Christ. Oh, but we can bridge it from the from Binance, right? I'll see. Okay, I'll see about what we can do about this fucking shitcoin. Fucking, I can't believe it. But yeah, this is it. It's so ironic. It's so ironic. But yeah, I would buy a little bit of this if I was you guys. Buy a little bit of this, buy a little bit of XLM. Don't, you know, just for fun. Don't overthink it. Don't overinvest. Just for fun. You know, usually I would recommend Bitcoin, but there's some fucked up things going on with Bitcoin. Like now you have Gary Gensler. I'll show you this. Hang on. I mean, look at this. This is strange. This is Gary Gensler wishing happy 15th anniversary to Satoshi's famous white paper that started crypto. And now I'm gonna show you another picture. Fuck, maybe they're gonna ban us on YouTube for this. If they ban us on YouTube, we're gonna move somewhere else. I don't give a shit. Now look at this picture. So here we have it. Antony Blinken, Secretary of State. I don't have to say the word, you can see it for yourself. Alejandro Rosell, Director of CDC, Director of the Office of Science, Deputy National Security for Cyber and Emerging Technology, Co-Chair White House, Senior Advisor to COVID-19, and then look who we have here. This little fucking snake. Gary Gensler. So something is just not right when this man is out there attacking all these different exchanges, all these other coins, except for Bitcoin and Ethereum. In my opinion, they are compromised. And I don't know when we're gonna learn this. But when we learn it, It's not gonna be pretty. It's not gonna be good. Let's continue the screenshot. All right, so where do we go? Okay, so Gary Gensler, then we have Secretary of Treasury, Janet Yellen, Wendy Sherman, Deputy Secretary of State, Deputy Director of CIA, White House Chief of Staff. It just keeps going. So do you understand that we are compromised? The whole Western system is compromised, and I never fucking understood what was going on, but now it's so clear. It's so clear. And it's very hard to think properly about this stuff and the illusion and all the deaf people and all the people that want you to take a side and so on. I'll tell you the side that I stand with. I stand with humanity. I stand with the citizens of the governments around the world keeping their citizens in prison. I stand with those folks. I don't stand with any government. I don't stand with any religion. I stand with the people, the sovereign free people that are enslaved and kept as prisoners in their countries. Those are the people that I stand with. These guys, this stuff, do you understand? These are the same people that created Hamas and all that. They're the same people who created, like CIA and Mossad literally created Hamas as a controlled opposition. It's a movie, guys, okay? And the ending is already written. You just need to look. You just need to look. So I'm not worried, by the way. I'm not worried at all. And I'm not fearful. I don't give a shit. I really don't. Because have you guys been there? Have you actually seen it happen? Do you even know if this is real? Could it be completely AI, artificially generated? It could. We have very good technology these days. Am I saying it is not? No. I'm just saying, why make it your reality? Why drag all this fear, pain, suffering into your own reality when you don't even know the truth behind what's going on, right? What's good is to, get curious about this stuff, to be curious about like what's actually going on, and then start diving deeper into it and figure out what's going on. But let me tell you, when you do that, it's so confusing. It's so confusing. There's all these different sides. There's all these different Bibles. There's all this different ancient history. There's all this different stuff going on. And then just when you think that you figured out like the world situation and what's going on, then you realize that the conclusion you have come to was another illusion and there's even more behind it. It's crazy. And if you really go down this rabbit hole, you will question your sanity. I sure have. Because it's so unreal what's going on. It's so crazy. But I'm just watching the show at this point. Like I have no fear of this. I really don't have any fear. If my time to leave Earth was tomorrow, I'm perfectly fine with that. Lived a good life. I'm very happy with this life. So don't be fearful about this stuff. Don't give fear power in general in your life. Okay? Like whenever you get that feeling where you're like inside, where you start to feel hopeless, or you're like, you start to get, start to be concerned about yourself or your family or something like you start collecting all that. When that happens, okay, let's just pull up. Let's just pull up Let's pull up. I've shown you guys this already a couple of times. I'm just gonna give it to you one more time. Here we go. So when this happens, what really happens in your consciousness, in your mind and your body and everything, is that they push you on a very low frequency. And the lower frequency that they can push you to, either with fear, grief, guilt, shame, or whatever, the lower frequency they can push you to, the worse your life is gonna be. And this is the goal. The goal is to make people fearful, because this is how they control you. When people are fearful for their life, they ask the government to come in and take control. And we can't allow that, because that means that you are a prisoner and you're not a free, self-sovereign individual with full control over your life, being, and spirit. So don't give in to fear, okay? And I know it's hard because maybe you don't realize, maybe you think this is it. Maybe you think this life is all there is to it. And I sure as hell thought my entire life that this was all. I thought it's just, like the existence and the reality and all that's going on. I thought that's all there is to it. I thought once you die, that's it, game over. It turns out this is not the case. It turns out that there's another reality out there that's much more real than this reality. And once you have seen that reality and you come back to this one, you can just see the flaws everywhere. All right? You can see it everywhere, but you cannot see it until you seek it, all right? You like, I had no idea. For me, I was searching for aliens. I was trying to figure out what aliens were. I was trying to figure out what, I wasn't trying to figure out religion and all that shit. And, I was just like, aliens, real or not, I want to fucking know. And I've always been curious, but now that we have so much data, so many videos and facts, and I was just like, okay, I want to figure out, is this real? So I just started digging. And the more I digged, the more religion I found. The more changed history I found, the more deception and evil shit I found. And I was so confused. I was so confused about what it all means. The pyramids and Moses and the Israelis that, came and took the Ark of Covenant and went across the ocean and went to fucking Palestine and invaded a fucking country, whatever the fuck they did. Look, it's just mind-blowing how much there is. But what's really amazing is that when you read the original, the ancient Sumerian tablets, when you go read this stuff, we now have automatic software that will translate these ancient tablets. And what these ancient tablets reveal, is amazing. Because the ancient tablets that the Bible was written on top of, when they, the Bible is just a collection. The Bible is just a collection of scriptures, So once you realize that the people created the Bible cherry-picked what they wanted in the Bible and what they didn't want in the Bible. Like, God didn't write this shit, all right? Definitely not. If you want to, the closest thing you'll find to something, God written is these ancient Sumerian tablets, maybe the Torah, I don't fucking know. But what is amazing is that you will find that in the Bible, some say it's a mistranslation. Of course, it's not that. What you find is that in the Bible, they speak of God as a single deity, as a single monotheism, belief. There's only one God, okay? And there's also hell and what. This is what they teach. And they teach there's a hell. If you don't follow the rules, you're gonna go to hell. There is no hell. I can tell you that. But what is so interesting is that in the ancient Sumerian tablets, they don't talk about a single god. They talk about multiple gods. They talk about multiple deities that came to Earth and brought life. This is the Anunnaki. So we're just gonna look that up for a second here. The Anunnaki. Here we go. And you know, like this stuff is thousands of years old, but it holds the answer. And you also see it as like, you know, that in the goddamn scripture, they said they came here in spaceships. It's even in their fucking paintings. It's like, why are people believing this fucking Bible shit when you can go look at the original source and read for yourself? Now the trick is that this source is not even the real source. Like these ancient Sumerian tablets is another illusion, but it's closer to the truth than the rewritten ones. It's another illusion. So you have to dig behind that, and once you dig behind that, holy shit, what are you gonna find? Start here, start with this, and then we can talk about these scriptures. And you know, another thing is the Egyptian gods. Right? There was a few, and then there became more of them. Let me see if we can find a good picture here. So I've been to Egypt twice. I didn't know what it was amazing, and I was inside all of the pyramids I could access, including I saw the whole thing. I didn't know at the time, that what they're saying wasn't true, because when you go to Egypt, the Egyptian people, if you go to the museum in Cairo, when you talk to these people in general, the Egyptian people of today say that they created the pyramids. They didn't. They can't. They can't even make it. They can't even lift the fucking stones. We can't even lift the stones with heavy machinery. It's not possible. And they say they rolled it on luck. No, fucking no. It's like some of these stones are like 700 tons or some shit. It's impossible. You can't move it. So obviously higher power was used to move it. And as I understand it, as my research has brought me to understand it, is that these stones were basically molded. They were molded. And try to think about stone, but like in liquid form, and then it molds into a specific form. Like if you're a powerful alien or something like that, look, I'm sure it's not a problem to do this. But what's so interesting about this is, when we go back, my understanding of this is that when these Egyptian aliens, gods, deities, whatever you want to fucking call them, interdimensional beings, I don't care, when they came to Egypt to help originally, or when they returned, they didn't accept them. They refused to accept them as the gods, and they basically threw them out. And then they started doing all their own stuff and so on, and it collapsed later on. So this is fascinating. This is really fascinating. And there's so much stuff you can read about this. You'll find, look at this. Set. This guy this guy, if there was a devil, if there was a devil, it's Set. Set is basically like the devil, the Satan in Egyptian culture, but it's not like it's not looked upon like something really evil. It's looked upon as a necessary evil to exist in the world, to filter people between two things: service to self, service to others. And if you are a very, see if I can find another picture here. If you are a very selfish, if you're a very selfish person, and you don't think about others at all or try to help them or anything, you just focus on yourself, what's gonna happen is that instead of being harvested, this is gonna sound totally whack, okay guys? Just hang in there. Instead of being this is the Eye of Ra, this is the Eye of Horus. And anyway, is this the real one? No, I think it's this one. Yeah, because they're different. They look very similar, just like our realities look very similar, but they're not the same. And if you live a life of selfishness without trying to help other people, you just care about yourself, you do all these egoistic things and you think you can get away with it, what happens is that at the very end of your life, instead of going out here, like if you imagine this, okay, this is your life, you're coming in and then you're going in circles trying to learn. Okay, you're going in circles, you're trying to learn. It's like a universe, right? So every cycle is a life. So you go through your whole life. Usually the first part is pretty rough and then it gets good. And what happens is that there's a filtering process here of souls, whereas these egoistic people that, you know, narcissism, all that kind of stuff, what happens is that they're actually filtered into a different reality. And the people who actually ascend towards service of others will go down this path, which is a completely different path, which is a life of creation, a life of co-creation. So it's like this is what you're gonna find behind the ancient Sumerian tablets. I'm happy to, you know, speak a little bit more on this, but reality is not just what you see. First of all, you have to understand that everything that we are is made of atoms or molecules, right? I don't know if you know that, but if you take your hand or a skin cell or anything and you zoom all the way in, like really close, if you zoom really close, what you're gonna find is essentially molecules. And you probably know molecules. They, you know, in the right structure and combination, they create elements, right? But now the point is that if you go behind molecules, you will find atoms. These are tiny bits of small light, conscious small light. This is what's behind everything. Alright, so every molecule breaks down to an atom. And if you understand that everything, whether you have a pen, or you have a fucking stone or something, if you understand all of this breaks down into atoms, you have to question reality. You have to. If you understand that everything is light, everything is atoms, and these atoms are conscious. They are. If you don't believe that atoms are conscious, meaning they have their own intelligence, you can try to search for the double slit experiment, which looks like this. which shows something very, oh, that's terrible. Do we have a good picture somewhere? Can't really zoom in properly. Okay, anyway. Look into the double slit experiment, okay? This is what's gonna crack your, this is what's gonna make everything in your brain go totally whack. Like if you really wanna start questioning reality, you look into the double slit experiment. After you look into this, you're gonna be introduced to quantum physics shortly. Once you understand quantum physics, you understand that everything exists at the same time in all the realities at the same time. And it's merely, it's merely about how you tune yourself to the right frequency of what it is that you want to make it happen, to make it into reality. So this is why I'm not worried. I'm not worried about the war. I'm not worried about any of this. I'm not worried about anything, in fact. I'm not... Wise Soul says photons behave differently when observed. That's right. That's the point. That's the point. Once photons are observed here, they behave differently than when they're not observed. So basically, when someone is looking at it, they have a different pattern than when you're not looking at it. It's totally crazy. Totally crazy. So yeah, have a look at this, guys. And if you really want to understand reality, you need to do this. You need to look this up. The double slit experiment, and it should make you think. It should make you curious. And once that happens. All right, hang on. This is saying look at the USD CAD. We'll have a look. Perfect. Perfect. Would be good if it took the profit as well. Yeah, this is fine. Don't worry about these markets. They're gonna work out. They're gonna work out just fine. They're gonna work out just fine. All right, guys. I know that tonight we didn't talk so much navigate. I mean, we did. We talked Neo Age in the beginning. You can go back, see the beginning of it. But you know, if you really want to make life work for you, you know, the reason I created Neo Agent, the reason that our team created Neo Agent was so that you could have freedom from trading and go out and search about this stuff and find out for yourself what's actually going on in life. That's what I want for you. I want you guys to see what's going on for yourself and understand it. And yeah, I think that's it for tonight, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you enjoyed my little presentation. I want to say to you guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for supporting Breakfree Trading, the mission, and everything that we do. I am very grateful for everyone that's part of our mission in Breakfree Trading. And I promise you that we will deliver the best tech in the world to help people make money on autopilot while protecting them and giving them freedom to be free and walk in abundance and wealth. So that's the goal here, guys. Thank you so much for coming tonight. I'll see you next week. Oh, this looks very well. I'm not sure why it's not taking profit. I think my agent not running something. It's all right, Susanna. Thank you for joining the live stream. You can just rewatch it from the beginning if you want. But yeah, thank you for coming, guys. I'll see you next week. All right.